Warning! The following video is a parody of the Everything Wrong With series of videos by CinemaSins. Most points shared throughout do not reflect my actual opinions on the game. Although this game is without a doubt one of the buggiest I ever played though. I cannot deny that. Only time will tell if Scarlet and Violet will get patched in the future. But without any more delays, I hope you enjoy the video. Scarlet and Violet? Do we have a roll credit scene right off the bat? I think we do. I wish Miraidon could actually go that fast during gameplay. Squovet is described as a Pokemon who will constantly eat berries and presumably other types of food like fruit. Since Violet's Dex entry literally mentions just food in general and how it will always stuff more food inside its cheeks and tail, how does the mom in this house manage to keep a full bowl of fruit here? Does she buy additional fruit and berries for Squovet specifically? Or is the entire bowl of fruit just for Squovet? I need some clarification here. Hello? Clavel? I didn't answer the door yet. You don't let yourself into somebody else's house without them answering first, even if they were expecting you. We already have one cat starter, why do we have another? What is Donald Duck doing in my Pokemon game? I have nothing to say for Fuecoco because he's perfect in every way. But since I already sent Sprigatito and Quaxley, and I know someone will not let go of the fact I sent both of them and not Fuecoco, I'll just get this out of the way now. Why do we have another Crocodile starter? You're still a good boy, Fuecoco. How did you not see the starters running off when you were looking forward? Fuecoco was literally straight ahead of you. No voice acting, again, which really stinks. Even considering when you look at other titles, mainly spin-offs, like Pokemon Tournament, where I'd say the voice acting for that game was pretty solid overall, and Pokemon Masters EX, which features voice acting for every character, and the option to switch between the English and Japanese voiceovers. If games like them in the Pokemon franchise can feature voice acting for the characters, what's stopping the mainline Pokemon series from at least trying it? Nemona is a champion-ranked trainer, but opts to pick the starter Pokemon that is weak to what I picked. I see this trend where rival characters picking the starter that is weak to mine still continues here. First Sun and Moon, then Sword and Shield, and now Scarlet and Violet. And no, I'm not counting X and Y because, while Shauna picks the starter that's weak to what the player picks, the other rival at least has the starter that is strong against the player's starter. It's safe to say this trend will continue with future installments in the series down the line. Now that you mention it, I did use the Union Room some time ago. I played with one of my subscribers at the time, in which he wanted to take a snapshot with my character in the background, and this is my perspective on the incident. All seems normal here, right? Well, here's his perspective. Why the f*** is my character's arm going through his left eye? This is just one of many flaws this game has in terms of gameplay, and while this is one of the least offensive flaws to me, because this is just straight up funny, I will eventually talk about other flaws which were just not enjoyable for me to put up with compared to this. A Pokeball is thrown like a ball? Huh, I never would have guessed that. Hold the goddamn phone for just a second. Play that back. So, if the Pokédex registration sequence here gets affected by any slowdown in the game, the audio falls out of sync. That kind of ruins the satisfaction to me for when I register a new Pokemon into my Pokédex. Here's the same sequence with no slowdown. The audio is fully in sync with what's going on screen. I think I could go about fixing the audio issue here though. Listen game, I know you don't want me to run ahead of Miraidon, but can you at least make Miraidon go slightly faster, or put me at a set walking speed, like how it was with a couple of scripted scenes from Legends Arceus? And also, I just want to acknowledge the fact that because of the fact I have to always be close to Miraidon and behind him at all times during this sequence, The game will prevent me from running ahead of him, even if I am going down another pathway which would lead me to an item to pick up, meaning I have to run back up and let Miraidon move forward some more before I can even pick up these 2 Pokeballs down here. There's nothing else down here besides these 2 Pokeballs. It's not like the pathway continues after picking up the item. I'm gonna be running back up anyway. Miraidon's Pokeball. A Pokeball that can hold a mysterious Pokemon known as Miraidon. A boy named Arvin gave it to you. An item description that points out all of the obvious. What else would Miraidon's Pokeball contain? And I was just given his Pokeball by Arvin like 10 seconds ago. Also, this Pokemon is with you throughout the entire game, which makes sense. Miraidon is your main source of traversing the entire region. But here's something I just thought about in context of this world. Pokemon trainers are only allowed to carry 6 Pokemon in their party at any given time before any new Pokemon are sent to the PC, where they can be moved in and out of their said parties freely. That's not the case with Miraidon here. From a gameplay perspective, as I said, it makes sense and makes traversing the region convenient. But what about the context of the world? Once I have a full team of 6, I can still use Miraidon for traversing the map. It doesn't go to a PC or anything. What makes Miraidon the only exception here? Why does the camera sometimes go under the ground when I either engage in battle or catch a Pokemon? PayPal. Complimenting me on type matchups? Come on, we already have one hub. I don't want to say we have another because Nemona is an awesome rival. Expecting praise and respect from a stranger which you have not even impressed, or even tried to. Are Shroodle's feet in the ground? Flamigo. Very clever name for a Pokemon based on a flamingo. That's just about as creative as Krabby, Seal, or Muck. Character gives a look to the protagonist, making them think they are in some kind of trouble cliché. And you're telling me that I do not have to find randos to battle? I can literally do that throughout the entire game. This is my adventure, my choices. It literally took me 10 seconds to get up these stairs. It really isn't as bad as everyone here makes it out to be. Do you want to be responsible for major property damage, Nemona? These poor kids are moving at like 5 frames per second. I'm kinda worried for them. Some hacker I do not know expects me to be fine and casual about him compromising my personal belongings. Also, how is everyone else so chill about me being hacked? Can they not hear the conversation over the phone? It's never specified if the phone is on speaker mode or not. How the hell does Cassiopeia know that Arvin said it's up to me where I go? Cassiopeia rung me after Arvin said that. Why would I feel the need to go back up if I chose to go down? We interrupt Pokemon Scarlet and Violet to bring you Rocket League. Nice idea using Smoliv as a roadblock to try and get me to battle this guy. But there is no rule stating that I can just do this. Arvin, are you even listening to yourself here? You're saying it's impossible that the Stony Cliff Titan would be on a cliff in this environment. Just wow. I swear I could pour myself a drink in the time it takes for Cloth's stat changes to be fully done when its Anger Shell ability activates. Why does the game feel the need to tell me the ability activated every time one stat change happens? I don't have to wait like 15 seconds when another ability like Moody activates, or if I use a move such as Shell Smash that provides both positive and negative effects, like the Anger Shell ability does. I'm just gonna put this here for the unfortunate souls that this happened to. So Arven's Pokemon that he brings with him to help us battle against the Titans, those can be shiny. How and why though? Well, it is explained in depth in this video, but to give you a short explanation from what I gathered from watching that video is that Arven's Pokemon are indeed shiny locked, but the game actually generates 2 of Arven's Pokemon in the Titan battles. So in this case, Shellder, a display Shellder and an in-battle Shellder. The battle Shellder is shiny locked, but the display Shellder is not shiny locked. In battle, it takes the stats of the shiny locked battle version, whereas it takes on the appearance of the display Pokemon, which isn't shiny locked, meaning if the display Pokemon hits those 1 in 4096 odds, the Shellder will appear as a shiny in this battle, despite the fact it shouldn't be shiny at all. If Arven has brought out a shiny Pokemon during your playthroughs, let me know in the comments below and how you reacted to that. I'll also link this video in the description. I wouldn't have been able to find out this information without it, and I gotta give credit where it's due. That kind of reaction was very delayed from you, Arven. Miraidon consumed the entire sandwich instantly. Oh my god! Did Oikalone just shit on my Palmo? I know Pincurchin can learn Surf, but why do I feel like this would be the last Pokemon I would surf on? But on the upside, unlike the bitch from Sinnoh named Mindy, I actually got a Gengar from this. Thanks, Blossom. Minecraft. Wait, what? I'm carrying Sparks? How the hell does that work? Voltorb actually dies from using self-destruct in this game, which I think is a first for the Pokemon franchise. It didn't faint, run away, or anything. It just faded out of existence after blowing itself up. God damn. So, 3 of the new Pokemon, Rellor, Bramblin, and Palmo, evolved by throwing it out and letting them walk alongside the player for 1000 steps. Just 2 problems with this though. For one, these guys just can't keep up with you if you're running at full speed, which was also a problem in Sword and Shield. So how did they still not learn from that mistake? And also, you have no idea how many steps they have walked during this process. It would be nice if there was like a pedometer or something to track how many steps these guys take, just like there was in Diamond, Pearl and Platinum. Varoom is an okay Pokemon in my opinion, but who decided this thing should have slow f***ing start as an ability? The worst f***ing ability in the game! I only have 1 gym badge. I don't think I should be fighting this guy right now. Okay, Nemona. I have already established that I have the freedom to go literally anywhere I want in this region at any time. This is the 2nd gym I have walked into, and you somehow stumbled into me here again. And yes, she does coincidentally appear at whatever gym you choose to be your 3rd gym battle too. Is Nemona spying on me every step of the way? Does Nemona have like some form of instant transmission to make everything seem coincidental? I want to know. These Sunfloras don't look like they're doing too good either. I don't feel as concerned as I did for the students in the classroom because I don't really know anyone who even cares about Sunflora. Well, unless it's the one from Explorers of Sky. I really like that one. Yeah, your legs should have shattered just now. Also, how did Brassius get on top of that windmill blade? I don't see a ladder or stairs anywhere on this structure. Hey Bombardier, what do you resemble? Thank you. This, right here, warrants 10 sins being removed. I've been hoping to see a dolphin Pokemon for the longest time, and I am beyond happy with how it turned out. Also, its evolution, Palafin, say what you want about its hero form, but to me, this is perfect. Giacomo's plan to wear me and my Pokemon down sounds like a good idea, but he forgot one thing. After I successfully defeated the wave of grunts and their Pokemon with the 3 I choose to storm the base with, they are back at full health when I fight their leader. Didn't think that one through, did you, Giacomo? You want us to skip to my outro? Okay. So the big boss mentioned breaking up the team before. The leaders have never seen their big boss in person, and Cassiopeia, who has kept their identity anonymous up to this point, assigned me to Operation Starfall to try and shut down Team Star altogether. Could the big boss be Cassiopeia? Penny's good at hacking and knows Cassiopeia, and the only other time we've seen Penny prior to this was before we got the Terror Orb and got recruited into Operation Starfall. Penny is 100% Cassiopeia. No question about it.
It was an Alaskan bullworm!
Nemona says she's now introducing me to some of her harder hitters before my battle against Iono, and she chooses to fight me with a level 21 Palmy. Yeah. How am I able to directly communicate with Iono during this gym test? She tells me I'm being broadcasted at this exact moment, and I'm able to respond to her commentary without being in plain sight at this exact moment. Unless you count it being on the bottom left of the screen, which I don't, because in context of what's going on, she's definitely standing in front of a green screen with her broadcast being played over it. Plus, I don't see any speakers anywhere in this town, so there's no way I should be able to hear her. And thus, fellow pretzels, I have defeated Iono and obtained my 3rd gym badge. Let me just say, up front to you, Iono, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much for Vault Switch, and... wait, you didn't even shout my channel out? After we just collaborated? I thought that's how these things work! Mark my words, Iono, I will be back. Don't tell me every Team Star raid is gonna be this easy. 10 minutes is just way too much time for me to take down 30 Pokemon. I would have personally loved if the higher level Team Star bases gave me either a more strict time limit or a higher quantity of Pokemon to take down, thus increasing the challenge of raiding these bases. That was for the honor of your squad? That didn't even do much, considering my Knuckle Stack's health is still in the green, and I've still got 5 more Pokemon to fight you with. Just so you know, Mela, Knuckle Stack can't even learn Flame Charge. What? Did it just say I picked up lava? Okay, picking up sparks sounded ridiculous itself, but picking up lava without my belongings burning, or possibly myself, that's kinda where I draw the line. Just a quick PSA here. Do not, I repeat, do not give yours or a friend's wallet to someone you do not even know. Even if I am a gym challenger, I do not think this is a risk the staff member should have taken. I think I should also add an additional PSA by saying don't pick a fight with someone you never met before either. That's also never a good idea. Cassiopeia? I wouldn't say the Navy squad's days are numbered now that I beat Atticus. Without their leader, they are technically forced to disband according to their code. So, the Navy squad is pretty much done for. What the hell? I'm nowhere near that Makuhita. How did I initiate a battle? I do not know what I'm supposed to say here. The footage speaks for itself. What happened to the customers in this restaurant? If passing the gym test is what causes the arena to appear in this building, where did the attendees who were eating here at the time even go? Either there's another section to this building that I can't see, or I just managed to get every customer in this restaurant killed. Shiny Pokemon once again show their shiny killers in the overworld, unlike how it was handled in Sword and Shield and Brilliant Diamond and Shiny Pearl's Grand Underground. But I definitely prefer how it was handled in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and of course, Legends Arceus. Because if a shiny Pokemon spotted in Let's Go, it would constantly be sparkling on screen. So even if you were in an area with Pokemon that would normally be very small on the screen, like Pidgey, Caterpie or Weedle, you would still be able to see from a distance whether or not it is shiny because of the sparkle effect they display when they appear on screen. Legends Arceus, in my opinion, handled it in the best way possible, because if you were approaching a shiny Pokemon, an audio cue would play letting you know that one is nearby, even if the Pokemon itself was off screen. As long as you heard that audio cue, you knew there was a shiny. In Scarlet and Violet, however, Neither of those things I just mentioned apply here. So if a shiny Pokemon does spawn in, you better hope you can see it, and if you move too far away from it, the Pokemon despawns for good, meaning you've lost the shiny. Say hello to what is, quite possibly, the easiest rhythm game in existence. Hello? Gimmighoul? Oh my god. Wait, what will it look like if I try to catch this Gimmighoul that's hanging on for dear life here? What the f***? Since I'm fighting the first of the many Paradox Pokemon found in this game, well, the first of the 7 future forms, not counting Iron Leaves, I think it's safe for me to say that despite Violet being the more popular version compared to Scarlet, it seems the preferred Paradox Pokemon are the past forms available in Scarlet, which I can understand merely from a design perspective. Great Tusk is what I imagine a Donphan from the past would look like, having a more fiercer and primal look compared to its present day equivalent. Scarlet version's past forms also gave us a land-dwelling Volcarona, which retained Volcarona's fierceness and majesticness, if that makes any sense. Whereas in Violet version, every single Paradox Pokemon is straight up a machine, not much else besides that. The 2 future Paradox Pokemon that felt the most interesting to me before writing the script were Iron Hands, because it actually looks pretty different compared to what Hariyama looks like normally, and the other future form I actually thought was pretty interesting was Iron Valiant, because it was a combination of Gardevoir and Gallade. So, I want to see if there's more to these future Paradox Pokemon other than the fact that they are machines, by looking at their Pokédex entries and seeing if there's any additional information about them that makes them more unique or interesting. Iron Treads is a scientific weapon that was sent to the planet by aliens, which pretty much confirms that aliens are canonical to the Pokemon universe now. Iron Bundle was built in an ancient civilization, which, okay, we don't know who or what this ancient civilization is though, so I'm still a bit stumped on this one. Iron Valiant is similar to an invention created by a mad scientist. Whomever that mad scientist is, I don't think we have an answer for that yet. Iron Moth is described as a UFO which observes humanity. Was this apparent UFO made by those aliens who also brought down Iron Treads? Who knows? Iron Thorns is similar to a Tyranitar from a billion years into the future. Okay, this one is kinda similar to one of Screamtail's dex entries, which referred to it as a Jigglypuff from a billion years ago. Iron Hands is apparently a modified athlete which became a cyborg. Again, just like the mad scientist and the ancient civilization, we'll never know about this particular athlete. But honestly, this dex entry is probably the most interesting to me so far, so Iron Hands is probably my favourite Paradox Pokemon. And this one, I wanted to save for last, despite being the lamest future Paradox Pokemon in my opinion, because it looks nearly identical to an actual Hydreigon. Iron Jugulus is described as an offspring to a Hydreigon and a robot. The Pokédex confirmed organic life forms in this world can breed with machines. I do not know what is weirder. The fact it was also once confirmed that in the past Pokemon and humans could marry each other? Or this? The only past form that comes kinda close to something as absurd as that for a dex entry is Brute Bonnet, saying it's a cross between a dinosaur and a mushroom, but it never specified that it's an offspring of the two. And you know what? I'm just gonna make this sim quick because of how long I've gone on about the Paradox Pokemon. The past forms all have varying description names, whilst the future ones are all Iron something and nothing else. Nimona, I thought you were a champion ranked trainer. Why would you use Quick Attack knowing my Palmot used Dig the previous turn? There's no way you can get a surprise attack off when my Palmot is underground here, unless your Palmot had Dig itself. What the heck is Moist Critical doing in my Pokemon game? Why else would this guy be called MC Sledge? Is his full name Moist Critical Sledge? Okay, I know I previously stated that I would have enjoyed the Team Star raids a bit more if the time limit or target number of defeated Pokemon was different for each base. But now I'm convinced the defeat 30 Pokemon in 10 minutes requirement was also added to Team Star's code if every base goes by it. You know, I just thought of something. Ortega created the Starmobiles, which are powered by a Reveroom, which controls the machine in question, 2 Varoom acting as rear wheels, and they are fueled by evolved Charcadet, so basically Armarouge and Ceruledge. But What causes the Starmobiles to become the Pokemon types each leader specializes in? Considering out of the Pokemon that are running the Starmobiles themselves, none of them are Dark, Fairy, or Fighting types. So, what I want to know is, how were the Starmobiles modified to become the Pokemon types they are when we fight them? This unnamed former deputy of Uber Academy, I'm giving him a sin, mainly for dodging responsibilities like an absolute idiot. What the? Did the Pokeball just come back like a boomerang and go through my body? I honestly don't even know what to say here. After defeating all the Titan Pokemon and collecting all 5 Herba Mystica, which Arven needed to help his ill and injured partner, this payoff was just grand, and enough for me to say the Path of Legends is, without a doubt, my favourite path of the 3 main stories. Geeta, you may call it talent, but all I did was spam Torch Song and it was over. I technically used Flamethrower on Altaria, but my point still stands. And Geeta, get ready. I've got some things to say about you once I beat the Elite Four. Wait, what? Didn't you just walk away from the base, Cliff? How did you take time to walk back to said base, battle Eerie, and immediately lose, in the span of only 20 seconds? Why do you seem so shocked about this reveal? You literally suspected it was Clavel, like 10 seconds ago. You even suspected it was him prior to a couple of Team Star raids. The option to say that you already knew it was him is here too. So, there's no reason to be shocked by any of this. Unless it's supposed to be sarcastic and I'm meant to find this funny. Sorry, but I refuse to believe that people in the background would not be paying attention when a fight between a student and the director of a school is happening. Like, nobody here even seems to care about what's going down here. What? You were Cassiopeia all along? I mean, I knew all along, but holy shit. This is definitely a massive revelation. Kid hacks a major system. A system which works as a secondary currency for the entire region, mind you, and is told she will eventually get hired by the company she hacked after graduation. I know no one's LP points were affected in a negative way throughout all of this, but even then, it doesn't change the fact that Penny committed what could be considered a pretty serious crime in this region. What compelled the Pokemon League to decide not to arrest her? I really like Tinkaton. A lot of people do. It was voted as the most popular Pokemon in the Paldea Pokédex, but it's the reason why we don't have Corviknight flying taxis anymore. Sorry to all you Tinkaton fans out there who are probably thinking I'm being really picky right now, but if I had to pick between flying around the region with the help of Corviknight or Squawkabilly, I would go with Corviknight any day of the week. So, rip Corviknight flying taxi, November 2019 to November 2022. I will forever miss your services and that one stray pixel on your loading screen. Top Champion Geeta. I think there is a typo in that title she's got, because no champion battle in the series up to this point has been as flawed or pathetic as this one. Lance may have used 3 Dragonites in his battles, but with his title as Dragon Master, and considering what regions the battles against him take place in, his options were pretty limited. That was until Heart Gold and Soul Silver, where his rematch team was a complete overhaul to what he had before, which fixed his team quite significantly. But still, I'm getting off the main topic for this sin, so back to Geeta. First off, I want to talk about what is considered her ace Pokemon, Glimmora. In the most recent Pokemon titles, the major boss fights in the Pokemon series tend to bring out their ace Pokemon last, as like their final trump card, but here's the problem with that for this battle. Glimmora's ability is Toxic Debris, which sets up toxic spikes after getting hit by the physical move. That's fine and all, but why would you save what is essentially a Pokemon made specifically to set up an entry hazard for last? You're not going to get much use out of that considering the battle is nearly over. And also, Glimmora has a 4 times weakness to ground. Well, only a 2 times weakness after terrestrializing. But even then, her Glamora's moveset doesn't even have any coverage for battling ground types. Like, why doesn't this Glamora have Energy Ball or Solar Beam? Next, I want to talk about her King Gambit. King Gambit's ability is Supreme Overlord, which boosts both of King Gambit's attack stats more and more for every fainted Pokemon in the user's party, which sounds like a really good deal. It would make more sense for this Pokemon to be Gita's final trump card instead of Glamora. But why the f did she use it as her second Pokemon in this battle? All I've taken down so far is her Espathra. Speaking of which, Espathra, the third and final Pokemon, which I'm perfectly fine with being on her team. Only real issue I have with this Pokemon is it has Quick Attack, despite the fact it has an abysmal attack stat of only 60. So I'd say swap out Quick Attack with something like Shadow Ball, Light Screen, or Calm Mind, and we're all good. I did see quite a few people happy about the fact that the Go-Goat line was finally back after not being in the regional Pokédex ever since Go-Goat debuted in X and Y, which came out in 2013. And honestly, even if it's not a new Paldea Pokemon, that's something I'm still fine with, considering champions from previous generations used Pokemon which were not even new at the time when that said champion was introduced, like Steven's Skarmory and Cynthia's Milotic to name a couple of examples. My main complaint with this Pokemon is, why does it know Play Rough and Zen Headbutt? Nothing else to cover grass-type weaknesses like Ice, Fire, Bug, and Flying. Plus, Espathra already has Psychic and Fairy-type moves, and that's the first Pokemon we fight in this battle. I tried to come up with a more balanced moveset for Go-Goat without overlapping a bunch of types that the rest of Gita's team can cover, and I was really struggling to think of a worthwhile moveset, leading me to believe that swapping Go-Goat out for something else would be a much smarter approach to balancing out Gita's team a bit more. So I decided to swap out Go-Goat with Scovillain. Both of its attack stats here can actually be put to use, so Scovillain won't be limited to just either physical or special moves. I decided to keep one thing from Go-Goat's move pool, which was his self-healing move by giving Scovillain Giga Drain. The next move I decided to give her Scovillain was Fire Blast, because if you look at Gita's Pokemon, not a single one of them knows a Fire-type move. Granted, none of them can learn a Fire-type attack, unless you count Sunny Day, which I don't because that's not an attack, it's a setup move. There isn't much else I could do with type coverage in Scovillain's moveset, since every other move it gets in its move pool already has a type that is being used on another one of her Pokemon. So I think the last two slots, I will give her the ability to inflict a status condition with Will-O-Wisp, and for a bit more type coverage, mainly to deal with what Scovillain's weak to, either Zen Headbutt or Stomping Tantrum are the best picks to go for in this case. But with that, we created a new team member that could definitely replace Go-Goat and add fire type coverage to our team. What do you think about this choice though? Any other grass types that are either suitable or a more worthwhile candidate than Scovillain, like Arboliva, Toedscool, etc.? Regardless, as long as it has better coverage than what Go-Goat has, then I guess anything would be better than what was given. Next up is Avalugg, which honestly feels like the most questionable choice in my opinion. Its special defense is incredibly low, so just like how I handled the gym fight against Crucia, if I just use Torch Song or any special fire type attack, it's just over. Like that. So Titan is definitely a much better pick, having much better bulk overall compared to Avalugg, alongside a higher speed stat. So it goes without saying, and I'm sure no one will disagree with me here, so Titan can just replace Avalugg altogether. And the final Pokemon on Gita's team is Veluza, a water and psychic type with a good attack stat, but why does she have a second psychic type on her team when Espathra was fine enough? Aqua Breed Tauros has a higher attack and speed stat, and the additional fighting type it has will make it so your water type does not overlap with any of your other party members. If not Aqua Breed Tauros, why not Dondozo? Dondozo has a base 100 attack stat, which is only 2 points lower than Veluza, but also comes with 115 defense and 150 HP, adding bulk alongside hitting hard as a physical water type attacker. And what I personally believe should have been Gita's ace, the Pokemon I personally would give her as a replacement for Veluza is Palafin. With a base 100 speed stat for both forms, it is likely that it will get the first move in a battle, so why not make an exception as to sending out the ace Pokemon last by sending out Palafin, like the second or third Pokemon, have it use Flip Turn, and then come back at the very end in its hero form with much higher stats. But what do you think would be a more fitting ace for Gita after hearing all of that? Palafin or King Gambit? Let me know in the comments below, and why. But yeah, in conclusion, Gita and her team suck, and that's all for her segment in this video. On the upside though, the following exchange with Nemona after beating Gita was really good, but I feel like an asshole just by seeing what happens if I refuse her over and over. And also, her final battle is much better than what Gita delivered. Who am I kidding? Anything after Gita would likely be better. You know what? I said near the beginning of this video that Nemona is an awesome rival, and I can say after this exchange, she is worthwhile for me to remove another 10 sins off the counter. The Pokemon franchise needs more rivals like this, and not some friendly pushover. What the? Where were you, Arvin? I took some time to take the Pokemon League Champion assessment and earn the title of Pokemon League Champion, which took me a while to pull off once I got there. Where were you during all that if you didn't get here first? Awesome, but even if I didn't get on Miraidon in time, what would even be the matter? It's not like I'm gonna fall down, hit the ground and die. The Rotom phone I carry always manages to catch me before hitting the ground, so I'm pretty sure I would have came out of this alive regardless of if I got on Miraidon on time or not. That's kinda ironic coming from you, Nemona. I think Nemona is probably dead. Actually, I think standing in front of this fence is a bad idea in general. What is stopping me from trying to catch these wild Pokemon I battle alongside my allies? It's not like they're gonna try and catch them themselves, and in every other circumstance in the Pokemon franchise where I had to fight alongside someone, I could still catch those wild Pokemon we fought together. So, what makes this place the only exception? Giraffrig, can you go away? I want to know about the families of my friends here. So, the box art legendaries, Koraidon and Miraidon, are both Paradox Pokemon themselves, but unlike the other Paradox Pokemon, they got their own new names, rather than their description names being Winged King for Koraidon and Iron Serpent for Miraidon. So, why couldn't the other Paradox Pokemon get their own traditional names, or the names of their present day equivalents? But if you could give the other Paradox Pokemon new names, what would you call them? Because honestly, anything else for the future forms would be better than putting something after the word iron. Are you sure, Arvin? Because I don't think anyone in Paldea questioned the fact I rode what would look like to them a futuristic or modified Cyclizar. Even if the secret was already out, not everyone in the region would have likely known about it. And again, no one even raised an eyebrow when I had it out for traversing the region, so I personally think riding Miraidon in the Paldea region is perfectly fine to do. How did the Pokeballs come back to the time period they originally came from after capturing another Pokemon from another time though? There's gotta be like some form of gateway between both time periods to make it possible. And if it's possible for Pokeballs to come back to the present through that gateway, why can't humans come back through it too? I gotta say, out of all the mainline Pokemon titles, despite this game's shortcomings, it has great ideas and a nice new selection of Pokemon alongside. But one thing is for sure, this game's finale in the story is definitely the strongest out of all of them. Despite not being the real Professor Turo, the only real thing he shares with him is his memories and knowledge. He acknowledges the fatal flaw with his desires the original Professor Turo had, and wants us to defeat him in order to save the entire region, despite the fact he knows his code tells him that he can't let anyone interfere. But what I believe is the main highlight for this finale is his exchange with Arvin. Seeing their reunion, I guess, becoming very short-lived, that was honestly kind of emotional for me. Arvin, you are definitely the best character in this game. No question about it. Ed Sheeran, copyright claim incoming, copyright claim incoming. Skip, skip, skip! And we are still excused from entering Area 0 from this point forward. Seriously, we could go back in there at any time, catch more of the future Pokemon that were considered a threat to the region, use them outside of Area 0 against other trainers, and also catch the second Miraidon we ran into. I'm technically using what could be considered major threats to all of Paldea, which I got from an area that's meant to be off limits, so I should probably get expelled for being able to still do all of that. And you know what that means? We gotta fight all the gym leaders again. I'm perfectly fine with gym leader rematches in Pokemon games, I really am. But every time prior to this, it was an option. You could go back and battle the gym leaders at any time you wanted. So why is it now suddenly a requirement to progress the story? I love Goldengo, but the process to getting one is the biggest pain in the ass that I had to deal with in a Pokemon game, considering you only get somewhere between 1 to 10 coins per roaming Gimmighoul, and the chests give you somewhere between 10 to 70. And in order to evolve Gimmighoul, you need an entire stack of coins, which is 999 coins total. So if you want to use a Goldengo on your playthrough team, you're going to be searching for quite a while that by the time you're done, you're most likely near the end of the main story. I think I can take it from here, Jack. So you see, when two Pokemon are in the same air group, or one Pokemon is next to a Ditto, that's when they... God damn it! I wanted to know how to evolve Primeape into Annihilape. Guess I'll just resort to Cerebi to find that out. Shouldn't you test whether or not the Shiny Charm works yourself? Because you have the Shiny Charm and won't hand it over unless I complete the Pokédex. So, do your class a favor, get your ass out there, and find some shiny Pokemon! Rhyhorn is addicted to Clavel, because honestly, I would be mind blown if someone I knew was involved in one of the region's biggest phenomenons. Okay, so we were trusted by Rhyhorn to go scout down the legendary treasures of Ruin, but here's a thought. What if we failed to capture them and they wiped out my entire team? I would be forced to flee the area to heal my team back up, and the legendary Pokemon who were sealed after rebelling against humans would be free to sort out destruction on the entire region. And I would be to blame for freeing them from the shrines they were sealed in. But I still gotta do it anyway. It's for the Pokédex. And the Shiny Charm. So this lesson is supposed to be teaching us how to use terrestrialization during Pokemon battles, but here's my main problem with Gible becoming a grass type here. Gible can't learn any grass moves, and it still retains its weakness to the ice type. If you're gonna terrestrialize a Gible, change it into a type where it can overcome the types that Gible is normally weak to, like other dragon types, fairy type, and the previously mentioned ice type. Gible can also learn Iron Head too, so I'd say the best Terra type for Gible is Steel. Oh, and Gible can't learn any ice moves either. Not even Ice Fang. Yeah, its ice type weakness is gone, but now it's weak to rock, something it resisted before, and also fighting in Steel. I'm letting the fire type slide here, because my previous said about Steel being Gible's best Terra type is also weak to fire. Well, you certainly did a good job keeping Arvin's identity hidden. You almost gave it away, but just enough to give me a proper hint. And Arvin is right there, and he reacted to his name being called out. So yeah, if one person in your class managed to figure it out, eventually everyone in the room will figure it out. And you somehow still never broke your legs doing that? I find that hard to believe. No, I did say I would be back after last time, after you didn't shout out my channel. I did complain about having to rematch every gym leader earlier, but you, Iono? I'm considering this rematch with you revenge. I'm probably gonna get cancelled for this. So, Gita had me do her dirty work by rematching all the gym leaders just for her to enter this tourney as a guest. She does make it to the final round with me, which means I have to battle Gita again. But does she at least step her game up with a better team this time, or a better strategy? Nope! Same roster, same move pool, and this time, King Gambit was the third Pokemon she threw out in battle instead of her second Pokemon. Yippee do! No stalling, eh? Just watch me.
Twenty minutes later. 8:01 p.m. 3:28 a.m.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Hold up. It's not an actual shuriken, right? Because if it is, I'm pretty sure it's illegal to have that, or any weapon on school grounds for that matter. I actually like VVs too. Umbreon, Sylveon, and Leafeon being my three favorites. But in terms of water-based Pokemon, Vaporeon is the most. So, not only do I not get to fight Nimona this time, considering speaking to her here is optional, but I spent 2 hours battling her, and none of my Pokemon gained any XP from this, despite the fact they took part in battle. If you want to continue teaching at the academy, what is stopping you from doing that and making time for your family? You even stated that your father is in critical condition. Just find someone to cover for you, so you can make time for your family. Yeah, about that, I did, and me and an Iron Serpent ate it. So, just so you know, if I get one from a 6-star raid, I ain't giving it to you. I need those for sparkling power sandwiches. Wait a minute. How tall is Tropius? 6'7". Are you trying to tell me that this kid is 6'7"? Excuse me? I thought it was common sense for people to use potions on Pokemon to heal the back up if they are hurt. How did doing something as simple as that not even occur to you? And I think I'm an asshole because I pretty much said no to Salvatore when he asked if I had any potions, despite the fact my bag is currently stacked with them. So, if I didn't show up here to help out by eating Dendra's soggy sandwich, then who would have been the lab rat around here? In an alternate timeline, my prayer goes out to that one kid who ate the same thing at this exact moment. Oh wait, it had bacon on it? Never mind, I take that back. Bacon is so f***ing good. How did it never occur to Dendra to put butter on bread? She's in her 20s, and this is definitely not her first time experiencing a sandwich, whether it's making or eating one. And butter is the ingredient for a sandwich. Not having butter on the bread is like not using a controller to play a video game. Like, just pick anything with finicky or inaccurate motion controls. It could still work, but the results leave a lot to be desired. Ah, this Pokemon. One of the few that solidified the fact that I have to make a follow-up to this video. 2 follow-ups actually. Both DLC packs will get their own separate videos when they both release, so until then, they're getting a sin right now for showing us Pokemon that are locked behind a paywall.